Welcome to the Double Dribble Podcast with Dubin and Dakil. That's Jared Dubin, author of Last Night in Basketball. Make sure you're subscribed to his newsletter because he dropped some dimes off the Christmas Day games, which we're definitely going to be talking about because, that's like the main thing to talk about. I'm Mo Dakil, former video coordinator with the Clippers-Spurs, Team Australia, write for Bleacher Report on occasion, do a bunch of videos for Offside, going to be on NBA TV this Saturday if you're listening to it in time. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of halftime, in between games, and a post game show. I don't know. I'm gonna be on NBA TV when a game's not on. Let me just put it to you that way, folks. That was I'm sure they would like me to dress it up nicer, but it's not what I do. Apologies for the late podcast. That one's on me, folks. When we recorded last week, I kind of forgot to mention to Jared and to the audience, I'm traveling. I'm currently visiting my in-laws in Hawaii. Woe is me. But that kind of screwed up our whole schedule. Jared, what's the weather like in New York right now?
Not the same as Hawaii, I'm sure.
I'm in shorts and a t-shirt.
It is 27 degrees today with a winter storm warning where it's forecasted for sleet for the next hour. So that gives you an idea of what's going on here today.
We are polar opposites, and I also just escaped the massive rainstorm that hit L.A. Literally the day we left. We actually flew through it, which was also an interesting part of the flight. But that people don't care about that. We're here now, and we want to talk about what was a great slate of Christmas Day games.
We do. Before we get to that, because we're very good at self-promotion.
Yes, Jared, sorry.
Subscribe to the podcast. Spotify, iTunes, wherever else you get your podcasts. Rate 5 stars. Subscribe for yourself, your mother, father, sister, brother, boyfriend, girlfriend, sneaky link, everybody on all of your devices. Unsubscribe, resubscribe. Hit us with those 5-star reviews. Hit us with the comments. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/@doubledribblepod. And do everything else for us if you so please.
Yeah, I was kind of forgetting that one point there, Jared. Thank you so much. Kind of an important thing for us. Remember, 5 million reviews, folks. That's the goal we're looking for.
Yeah, we're very good at self-promotion around these parts, as everybody could tell. It's like I was on Dunked On last week where me and Nate did the annual Trends podcast, and I went on there, and it took me until midway through the podcast to remember that I was supposed to promote literally anything. So that was really good.
We just, we're just going to put it I'm just going to create a background that just does all the promotion for us because we constantly forget. And all that, but we had great games. Let's forget about the promotion, all that stuff. We had great games, and it had actual meaning to all that stuff. I'll take a shot at the NFL later, but I want to almost just do it kind of chronologically, right? And I want to look at. I don't necessarily want to talk about the game. We will in our analysis, but I want to talk about it more in what it means in the big picture for these teams, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to start with Knicks-Cavs. First game of the day was absolutely phenomenal. I was going to say falafel. That was weird.
It was also falafel. I think
it was falafel. 4 falafels type game. Really just kind of set the trend for the day. Jared, what was your major takeaways starting either with the Knicks or the Cavs, whichever team you want, or both, however you want to do it?
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is just that the Knicks are an extremely mentally tough team. Those guys get down and they do not flinch at all, and they just methodically work their way back into the game. We saw that in the NBA Cup Finals. We've seen it a couple different times this year. We saw it in the playoffs last year too with this same group of guys when they kept coming back. They did it against the Celtics. Obviously, they had the reverse happen to them in the series against the Pacers, but we've seen them come back from these big deficits a bunch of times, and it's just a professional basketball team. Obviously every team in the league is a professional basketball team, but just the way they play is very professionalized, and they don't get too high or too low, and they will come out and just keep chipping away at your lead. And they did that twice in the game yesterday. They did it in the second quarter with the run with the bench guys, where it was Jordan Clarkson and Mikal Bridges on defense, sort of forcing the Cavs into a bunch of turnovers, and then Tyler Kolek making plays with his passing on the other end. And then they did it again in the fourth quarter where it was Kolek hitting a bunch of threes and then Clarkson hitting a couple threes and Bridges hitting that mid-ranger to give them the lead at the end. And yeah, that's my biggest takeaway from the game is just about the Knicks, and they're extremely mentally tough.
I love that. I think that's actually a great point, especially because the way it started out, it was like, oh gosh.
Oh yeah, they were down 20-5 to start the game.
Yeah, we're gonna have a massive blowout to start this thing, and this is gonna be rough. Like the Cavs came to play, and the Knicks did not, and then the Knicks just slowly responded, and were very methodical in the way they handled everything. My bigger takeaway is, the Knicks are deep. Like I don't think people understand it. Like this is the second game swung by bench guys, right? Mitchell Robinson down the stretch got every offensive rebound. Offensive rebound. It was ridiculous. It felt like I was just like, dude, like are the Cavs even going to try to rebound defensively? And then you have Kolek who really kind of stepped up, and everybody, I'm laughing with everybody with the Timothée Chalamet is going to play him in the biopic or whatever. But his biggest play was the block on Donovan Mitchell. The Cavs are about to go up up 3, right? They were up 1 at that point, right? 1. They're going to go up 3, and Donovan Mitchell slows up thinking he's all by himself and going to do a windmill dunk. Kolek comes running in, gets the ball first, and then makes contact with Mitchell. Obviously, it was called a foul first, and then we review it. Call gets overturned, and it's a massive play. And even on that game-winning bucket, or the go-ahead bucket for Bridges, Kolek goes out of his way to get the rebound. Right? It's an out-of-area rebound for him with Donovan Mitchell coming running down. He pokes it away, gets it, and then kicks it out to Bridges. Like, besides the big threes, the kick to Clarkson in the corner, it just showed, like, damn, this team is actually pretty damn deep. And, Jared, I'm going to do something I don't do very often. I'm going to admit I was wrong about something.
Oh, okay. I'm interested to see what this is.
Tibbs would have never played Kolek.
Oh, God, no. We talked about that with the NBA Cup game, too.
Yeah,
where he wouldn't have played Kolek.
Would have buried him on the bench, right? And this is
Josh Hart would have come back in with 1 foot last night.
Yeah, seriously. Like, but like in that sense of like, this is what I talk about with like using the regular season to prepare for the playoffs. Like this is developing your bench. Even the NBA Cup final, right? Like that confidence, that run in the NBA Cup finals led to Mike Brown being confident enough to put him in this one, right? Like there's all that stuff. And it'll be interesting to see what happens when Shamet comes back, when McBride comes back. I think most likely Shamet will be the odd man out of the rotation. But in the sense of like, this team is deep, like, and they're developing their bench, and it's going to go such a long way for them. Like I kind of came away like, damn, all right. I was already like the Knicks are good, but I was like, this team is really good, and the depth is something that we kind of don't focus on a ton, but I think they're developing that as they're going through the season. That's going to be huge for them come the playoffs.
They've had already 3 bench guys making an impact over the last couple of weeks, and that's it's Kolek, Clarkson, and Robinson. And like you said, they've got the guys that were their 2 top bench guys at the start of the season. McBride and Shamet have both been out during this stretch. And the reason they were the 2 top bench guys was because Hart was out to start the year, and then OG was out after that, and Mitch has been in and out of the lineup, not playing back-to-backs and things like that. So McBride and Shamet were kind of the 2 top bench guys for a bunch of the start of the year. But Shamet's been out since late November. McBride's been out since early December. He's listed as questionable for when you're listening to this for tomorrow's game against the Hawks, so it seems like he might be on the verge of returning and might be back tomorrow. I'm very interested to see what happens when they have McBride, Shamet, Kolek, and Clarkson, because that's a very small bench group, and Gershon Yabusele not being what they thought he was going to be in terms of having another shooter and another big guy off the bench in one player. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes itself out, but having a bunch of bench guards that you could play is huge. Not a problem. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a huge lift for them. I think that's a big one for the Knicks, and that's what I think going forward. That was kind of my big takeaway. I want to slip over to the Cavs because there's 2 ways to look at this. Right? There's the, hey man, they looked better. They had the lead down the stretch. A couple of breaks go their way. they win this game, and then we talk about it as like, okay, that's great. The other aspect of it is like they blew a big lead down the stretch. They blew a lead twice. They had a big lead in the first quarter, kind of gave that up, and then blew it down the stretch again. And then Donovan Mitchell with the windmill dunk, which if he goes for a layup, it's it's a 3-point game. Who knows how the
game might be over if he just takes a layup.
So
did you see that Kolek said that after the game too?
Yes, and I love that. I loved that. I was like, yes. I think I sent that to like a couple of friends too. Like, yo, love this. For me, I started this game was like, this is a Cavs, you have to show me something game, right? This was a show me game. You got to show me what you got now, right? Like, I get it. No Evan Mobley. Fine. You've been injured to start the season. Fine. You shouldn't be as bad as you are. Like, it's they lose some bad games. They take some hits on the chin and things like that. The offense doesn't look as fluid. It looked better yesterday, but still doesn't look great. Doesn't look like what it had last year. I feel like, there's even with Garland playing well. To me, I'm in the camp of like, yo, this team's in massive trouble. And I'm not in the same boat of, hey, they looked good, they just almost won. Like, that's not what we're here for. This is a team we thought was going to compete for a championship this year. And now we're just handing out participation trophies of like, oh, it's nice. They almost beat the Knicks. Like, my big takeaway for them is like, they're in a boatload of trouble. They showed me who they were, and what they are the exact same team they were last year and the year before. Mitchell Robinson kicking Jared Allen's ass is not a shock to me. But like, again, this continuing this theme over and over again, like, I think they're in trouble.
Mitch kicking Allen's ass looked a lot like the playoff series a few years ago. I'm in the same boat as you in terms of not necessarily being encouraged by the fact that they looked good for stretches of the game while almost beating the Knicks. There was a lot of talk during the game like, oh, when you look at these last 3 games, you got to be encouraged if you're the Cavs because it seems like you might be turning things around. But when you blow the game against the actual good team that you played instead of beating a couple of bad teams and looking good in the process, I don't know how much I take the lesson that they look pretty good lately. Like, that doesn't fly to me. I don't want to say that they're not mentally tough like the Knicks are necessarily, but when they get punched in the mouth, they don't have the same kind of response. And they're not physical enough, I think, in some ways. They're small, obviously, on the perimeter. They're big inside, but those big guys are not physical, and they can get overwhelmed. And we've seen that specifically from the Knicks. Like, even the Cavs went 4-0 against them in the regular season last year, but with the exception of that, over the last few seasons, the Knicks have kind of just straight up out-hustled and out-muscled them, to use a Clyde Frazierism. They've out-hustled and out-muscled the Cavs for the most part over the last few years.
Yeah, it's disappointing, I should just say. And look, like, I get it, no Max Strus. Max Strus should not be the reason why you're struggling the way you are right now. Where I'm pulling it up the standings here real quick.
I think they're 16 and 14, if I'm remembering correctly.
17 and 15 is what I think I hit before I hit refresh. We shall see what the update says. And
yeah, 17 and 15.
17 and 15, 7th in the East. I get it too, right? Like, the East is still bunched up. They could jump to 4 with 2 games and things like that. But this team was supposed to be 1 or 2. And we're talking about them as a team that's like could possibly be in the play-in. It's just a very, you got to be just disappointed. Even with the, hey, we looked better, great, but you didn't look good. You didn't look good enough, we should just say. So I think that's my big takeaway for them, is I just don't think they're gonna. I kind of just have, they're kind of like an afterthought for me now.
Yeah, I'm like very close to done with the group of like, this is going to be our core group and we're going to win this way. Obviously, I know that they haven't played a ton of time together this season, and the last I checked, the numbers when the 4 of them were on the court together were like pretty good, somewhere between pretty good and not bad, if I'm remembering correctly. And obviously Mobley was out for the last week or so, and Garland has missed a bunch of times, so you don't necessarily know how much stock to put into those numbers. But when a team tells you who they are over the course of a several-year period, I feel like you should believe them. And the regular season last year seems a lot more like it was an exception than what we've seen from them over the last several years.
Yeah, and we should also note Mobley came back. He played in this game. Was surprising in that sense. Came off the bench, but like, oof, I'm gonna need a lot more convincing from Cleveland for me to feel like things are a lot better. You have any other Cleveland thoughts?
No, I think that's it for me.
Let's move to the other game, because that game wasn't the closest, but it was the most interesting outcome. Where the San Antonio Spurs beat the Spurs. See how I said it? So weird. The San Antonio Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder for the third time in a row in 9 days.
In the third different city.
Yeah, totally insane. But and this one, and it's got. Let me just put it this way: first game, 1 point game. Second time, 15-point game. Third time, 20-point game. They play again towards the end of January. Jared, whichever team you want to talk about, what was your biggest takeaway?
I think what the Spurs were able to do offensively over these last few games against them. Like, nobody scores on Oklahoma City. And the Spurs have been able to get kind of what they want for the most part over the course of probably the last 2.5 games out of the 3. And that is very surprising. Like, Oklahoma City struggling to score on occasion. Like, they struggled to score in the half court against the Spurs yesterday, and a lot of that was Alex Caruso going 1 for 12 from 3, and in the previous game, Lou Dort not making 3. Like, sometimes you're going to have these games where the other guys miss threes, and if you don't turn the ball over, and that combines with them missing threes, then you got a chance to beat them. But the Spurs being able to get what they want offensively is really interesting to me, especially because Wemby's not playing that much, and it's not like he's just totally dominating them offensively himself. The guards kind of getting where they want to go against Oklahoma City's guards is really, really interesting to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think the Spurs guards, this is going to be a weird thing to say. I think kind of watching this game this for the third time, going I think the Spurs out athleticism, I don't know how to say it properly, but are more athletic than the actual Thunder guards, which is kind of a wild thing to say, because I think when we talk about how good the Thunder have been and with their guards, the Spurs guards are just as physical, just as strong, and I think more athletic. That dunk Dylan Harper had along the baseline off that Wemby pass, that's just pure athleticism. And that's something I wasn't expecting from him. I expected that from Castle. Yeah. But I wasn't expecting it from him to kind of do that. I thought it was going to just be a little and I think it's not just him, Castle, and Fox. They're getting major stuff from Keldon Johnson. Vassell has a nice offensive package when he comes into the game, and it's been pretty interesting to watch all this stuff. I think the Spurs guards are actually just kicking the Thunder's guards' ass.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I mean, got to shout out De'Aaron Fox, by the way, just making every jumper imaginable, not just in this game, but this season. I had it in my 5 things I noticed on Christmas. This is the best jump shooting season of his career. He's got almost a 54 effective field goal percentage on jumpers. Second time he's been over 50 in his career. Last year he was down to 46%. And he was getting it to his jumper yesterday in a wide variety of ways. Catch and shoots, pump and slides, snaking the pick and roll, getting there in transition and stop and popping. He's just having a really good offensive season. And I think playing with Castle and with Harper, freeing him to do a little bit more away from the ball. Not everything has to be a 5 or 6 dribble pull-up that he creates for himself. Right. Is really doing wonders for him. And then the other 2 guys, they're also strong too. A lot of what the Thunder guards can do to opponents is stop them from getting where they want to go because they're so much stronger than opposing guards. But is Cason Wallace that much stronger than Fox?
He's not.
Or Castle especially? Harper's still got to fill out because he's still young, but Fox has some strength to him, and Castle especially is so strong. Nobody's stopping him from getting to the spot that he wants to go to.
I mean, they are put together perfectly to take on the Thunder, I think. And also, we got to talk about guys like Harrison Barnes was phenomenal. He had a nice little run. I think it was in the first or second quarter and making some plays. Then you have stuff where it's Luke Cornett Cornette. What is wrong with me today? Luke Cornette was big for them as well, and I think kind of just in the minutes where he's there before Wemby, and then when he's on with Wemby for the few minutes and stuff, I think they get a lot of great stuff out of it.
What a great signing that was, by the way.
That was a perfect signing.
Fantastic signing. And we knew that at the time that they signed him in terms of being able to play. And
it's been even better.
Yeah. Especially during the time that Wemby missed, he was massive.
Yeah, so let me ask you this question, because this is obviously, it was funny because this was going around, I think, right after the first time they beat the Thunder, and then it really kicked into high gear the second time. Are the Spurs contenders to you? Are they legitimate contenders? Like we had in the West, OKC, Denver, Houston, as the actual three contenders. Are they in that tier now?
I think they kind of have to be. If you beat this OKC team 3 times in 9 days, I feel like that's an announcement of we're not coming, we're here.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing. And it's not just that. Beat Denver in Denver. They've had some big wins. I'm kind of there. I'm surprised I'm there. I'm kind of there. A little bit, but pretty much they got to be in the mix. Like they have to be in the mix of contender status, I think, in the West with just the way they're playing and what they're getting from the guards. If you're Oklahoma City, we didn't even talk about Wemby, by the way, who was just absurd.
Yeah,
like it's the block he had on Wiggins, where Wiggins thought he had a layup, like it was, and then Wemby comes coming across the paint, and it's like, yo, this is a no-fly zone type of situation. Like, I got to find the numbers, but like the numbers of when he's on the floor and what the Thunder get is insane. Let me see if I can I had it somewhere.
There was a floater that Shea had where I was like, oh, well, he makes that 100 times out of 100. And he just totally short-armed it because Wemby was like 3 feet to the side of him.
Oh, I don't actually have the numbers I want, but it was Michael C. Wright added on X, where he basically, when Wemby's on the floor, OKC's offense just sucks, and that's not even it's just he just takes away the paint. Everything freaks out after everything after that is a disaster. If he takes away the paint, they're in trouble.
Yeah, because it forces them into everything is either Shea getting to his mid-range, which is still good until yesterday where it wasn't particularly good, or all of the other guys have to shoot threes. And for the most part, those guys have just not made their threes against San Antonio.
I would live with that if I'm a team that's playing. Granted, look, it's very hard to replicate what the Spurs done also because, Wemby. But, like, that's the
if
thing.
you have one guy who can take away the paint by himself, then you can replicate it. But nobody else has that.
No. Not even I don't even think Giannis can do that at the level that Wemby does. But I think the other thing, too, with the Spurs guards, and then I want to talk about Oklahoma City, their side of it, I think they do a good job crowding Shea. They don't give him that much space and that much room to really kind of get going. And he's put up good numbers and things like that, but they do a good job of like, this is going to be difficult for you.
I think that they're able to do that because of Wemby. You can play all up in him and know that even if he does get by or use that shoulder bump to get a little bit of space, you have protection behind you.
Yep, fair enough. Let's go from the Thunder side. Your big takeaway from the Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's connected to the opposite one, which is that they couldn't get stops against San Antonio, which is just insane. Like they're now in my adjusted efficiency metrics at last night in basketball, where just to explain them briefly, like if you score 110 points per 100 possessions in a league where the average is 110 points per 100 possessions, your offense is average. If you do that in a league where the average is 100, your offense is 10% better than average. It works the same way on defense. If you give up 90 in a league where the average is 90, your defense is average. If you give up 90 in a league where the average is 100, your defense is 10% better than average. Oklahoma City has the best adjusted efficiency defense in the history of my database, which goes back to the ABA-NBA merger in 1976. Coming into yesterday, they had the best defense by like a full percentage point per 100 possessions. Now it's only tied for the best because it's back down. They tied with the 03-04 Spurs now. Like, that's how well the Spurs have scored against them over the last few games.
It's been impressive. I think I have two takeaways for the Thunder, or that, things that stood out to me the most about the Thunder team in this game. The second one's going to be silly, so everybody brace yourself a little bit with my silliness. I have more takeaways, but the two main ones. One, they're rattled, and the Spurs are in their head. You saw Shea pushing Wemby in the middle of a play or whatever and picking up a dumb foul at the end of, like, after a play. With all that, it's floating around on socials. Lou Dort crashing into Wemby.
What was
on a
that?
Harrison Barnes shot. It was a cheap shot, is what it was. It was a cheap shot. It 100% was. And it just showed me, like, yo, you guys are actually rattled. Like this, they're in your head. The Spurs own real estate in your head right now. And that's going to be a tough one for you. Even if they win the game in January, the Spurs have a 3-1 series lead on them. The level of confidence. They play, yeah, but like I'm just saying, but even then, right? Like no matter what, the Spurs have won the series, because it counts. The semifinal game counted, so it's gonna be like they own you right now, and you're reacting in a way that is pretty surprising. Like I wasn't expecting that. Like that stuff, and the Lou Dort one is the one where I was like, dude, like that's first off, that's a dirty play. He's tangled up with Hartenstein, I think, for a rebound. Maybe not, or he was tangled up with somebody.
I thought it was Kenrich Williams. I could be wrong.
It was Kenrich Williams. Because this was that run where Kenrich Williams was guarding him like an idiot. Kenrich Williams had a lot of
Kenrich Williams tried to go one-on-one from the perimeter at a certain point, and I was like, all right, what are we doing here?
A lot of Grant Williams. And that like has that kind of feel. Like super try hard in a lot of those things, and it resulted
Grant
in
Williams,
some plays.
Remember him? Where has he been? I know he got hurt.
But anyways, like that stuff where I saw that was the first thing where I was like, oh, that's a crack. And now I'm going to do my silly takeaways here.
Well, briefly on that, Shea did say after the game, like, you don't lose to a team 3 times like that without them being better than you. So that was interesting. And then J-Dub was asked after the game, like, what are they doing to you guys offensively that throws you out of rhythm? And he was just like, there's a 7'5" guy that takes up a lot of space. So they're clearly thinking about it, you know?
Their quotes are not good. Those are not like quotes. I would like, even if you don't say the quiet part out loud, like even if you think that, and I don't even think Shea really believes that, but you know. In that
I will say, I'll give Daigneault credit where he didn't, like, you could easily have come out and been like, the Thunder went, what was it, like 12 for 40-something from three. And you could easily be like, that was a shooting variance game. And someone asked him, they were 11 for 44 from 3. And someone asked him about that. And he was like, I'm not going to say that this was a shooting game. Like, they have come out and beat us 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and it's
Caruso
not
going 1 for 12, and what was it? Dort was.
But that's also the Spurs by design are just saying like, "Yo, Wemby, you're going to guard Caruso, but you're not really going to guard him. Let him shoot those shots. Just patrol."
But also, if Caruso and Dort take 19 threes combined, your defense has worked.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like that's 19 shots. That's too many threes from the two of them. When I saw the stat at one point where Caruso was 1 for 10 from 3, I was like, he took 10 threes?
Yeah.
I was like, that's too many. I'm sorry for Alex Caruso.
Yeah, I heard Nate Duncan and Danny LaRue talking about that's the most threes he's ever taken in a game.
Yeah, like, maybe take a dribble. Maybe, but again.
At a certain point, I was like, do we maybe want to throw a pump fake out there and go to the basket?
Just try it, whatever. They're in their Rocky 3 stage right now. In the way the Spurs are clubber laying.
This is the silly take?
This is the silly take.
All right.
I don't know why it would be silly, but yeah, they've just gotten their asses beat right now, and Clubber Lang and Wemby has all the runnings of Clubber Lang. Physically dominant, everything. The shit talking from him is pretty great. You saw him cheering, screaming when Chet missed the free throw, like he just dunked on somebody.
The one-sided rivalry that they have there, where Chet's like, I really don't know why people are making this a thing, and Wemby is like, this is a thing. I hate this guy. It's really funny.
First off, it's not really a rivalry when you don't guard the guy. Neither of them guard each other, but like Chet needs to. We'll get to that in a second. Also, it is a thing. Chet's the one that tweeted out after he got dunked on in preseason, going like it was an offensive foul. You tweet that out, everybody's gonna kind of feel a way about it. But anyways, they are in their Rocky 3 stage right now. They need to go find Apollo Creed, and they need to go train in a gym in L.A. They need to start swimming in pools. They need to run on the beach. All of that stuff. They need to find themselves again.
What's the equivalent of that here?
In Oklahoma City, I think they got a lake somewhere, don't they?
Oh no, I mean like what's their equivalent of like finding Apollo and running on the beach?
Well, I think one, they kind of have to get one. They can't lose the mental battle. In that sense, like they can't get shaken up in the way that they've been. They clearly are shook. Like and I actually saw it in the second game where I was texting a friend. Like they're rattled. Like they look rattled at this point, and kind of stunned. I don't necessarily know. I feel like there are things. One, I want to see a little bit more, and we saw it in this game a bit more offensive creativity, which between Shea and Jalen Williams. I want to see. Chet's got to show up in these games. Because the thing is, you watch these games and Chet disappears, man. Until Wemby does something to him. But, like, Chet disappears for the most part. Like, you got to show up. Like, your 2 and 3 guys are the ones that are hurting. And I know Jalen Williams coming back from the wrist injury. He has not looked like he is in sync with the team at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel that way. Like, when I'm watching him, I don't feel like he has the rhythm and flow of the team.
Trying to board a moving train is hard, especially when that moving train is 24-1 without you, and you're like one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle, and you got to totally reintegrate everything that you do. So I'm not surprised that it's been a little bit choppy on that front, and it'll take some time, but they'll also get back to working at the peak of their powers with him. I'm very confident in that. In this specific matchup, I do think that they need to get on the offensive glass more and be more physical. Like we saw, like we got to see Hartenstein hammer the offensive glass. We got to see Chet get on the offensive glass. I think it would help them to have the other Jalen Williams back because he's a little bit more physical, and that could work to their advantage as well.
Well, I think they need to play 2 bigs when they play the Spurs. I think Hartenstein needs to be on the floor. I think Chet needs to be on the floor. And if Chet's not going to guard Wemby, at least have Hartenstein on him and let Chet float in the way like that's the strategy. Because I'll just be honest with you, right now, none of that's working. None of that's working. Everything they've done so far, none of it has worked in this 3 games that they've played. So like that's kind of my takeaway for them is they got to go back to the drawing board. But it really starts with them making sure they don't lose the mental battle. Because right now, like the Spurs own them and are like they walk in very confidently with we got this.
I don't know how much I buy that they're like the Spurs just own them now. Like sometimes you just get beat, even if you're as good as Oklahoma City. And I know it's 3 times in quick succession, and it's been progressively they beat them by more each time, but I'm still more on the cautious side of this team was 24-1. They're 26-5. Like,
I'm not saying, oh no, the Thunder are bad. I still think the Thunder is going to make a run to the
they're
finals.
They're 2-4 in their last 4 games. They should probably break it up.
Yeah, trade everybody. I don't want to say in that sense, but I disagree in the sense of like, I actually didn't mind that they lost the game in San Antonio. But you got to come out Christmas Day at home. This team has beaten you twice in the last week. You got to come out. I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Like, you guys have been prancing around for 2 games now, talking all this shit, ethical basketball, all of this stuff. I'm going to beat the ever-loving shit out of you. And they did not come out with that. And to me, to lose that at home is the bigger deal to me in that sense, right? Like, that's the thing. Because normally I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like, some teams are going to have your number or whatever. But honestly, I felt like they did not, like, where is that shit? You know, and that anger and that stuff. And it can't show itself in pushing Wemby after a play or a cheap shot trying to run him down and make it look like a box out. Like, there's a lot of stuff there that's like, like I do feel like they kind of given up the high ground a little bit.
So let me ask you this. If they played a playoff series, are you now favoring the Spurs in that series?
First off, it will be like, I hope to God we get a playoff series with these two teams, because this rivalries are great, and this is how rivalries are developed. As of right now, I might. It's a toss up. It's way closer than it would have been a week ago. Even after they beat them in San Antonio, in Vegas, it's like, whatever. It's one game. It didn't. It was the Thunder had a bad night, whatever. Like, that was kind of my view of it. They'd even asked Wemby if this was a rivalry in the press conference leading up to the Cup final, and he literally just said, like, it can't be a rivalry. We haven't done anything, right? Like, it's not even. So it's like, but now when you go through the next 2 games, and they've been thorough beatdowns, like, I can't. You, at the very least, it's a toss up to me.
Yeah. I'd still take the Thunder. I've just seen too many times where it's like, oh, we think this one team has another team's number because they beat them 3 or 4 times in the regular season, and then it just doesn't matter in the playoffs.
Yeah, but normally it's some bullshit like, oh, Rui Hachimura stops Jokic in 1 game, so now we got the Jokic stopper type of stuff. Like,
no, I remember a couple of years ago where it was like where Phoenix had beaten Minnesota, I think it was 4 times in the regular season, or the Celtics beat the Knicks 4 times last season. Like,
I don't buy into that stuff, but what I would say is what the Spurs did is replicable and what they've been doing all season, right? It wasn't like they did stuff that was out of the norm for them that led to them beating them 3 times. I think that's kind of the reason why I'm more like, man, the Spurs legitimately can beat them.
Yeah, could they do it? Sure. I think I would still take the Thunder.
I think it's closer than that. But let's move on, because we hopefully we'll get to find out in April, May, or June. Well, not June, because that'd be the finals, and it'd be weird for 2 Western Conference teams to meet in the finals. Let's go to the next game, which was Dallas Golden State. And let's just be honest. This was the nap game, right?
Don't have as much to say about this game, honestly.
I don't either. This was the nap game. But I'll just say my takeaway for Dallas was, you see what happens when you don't try to make Cooper Flag a point guard?
Yeah.
You see what happens when you put competence around him, and they don't even have a lot of competence around him, but like just a little bit, and then you unleash the dude, because he's impressive. He started out slow, but he really got going.
Yeah, you put like actual point guards out there, even if they're not great point guards. Ryan Nembhard, Brandon Williams, like, these guys aren't great point guards. Nembhard is a pretty good player. Brandon Williams was amazing yesterday. He had 26 points. Like, that was pretty surprising to me. But, yeah, you just let Flag attack rather than being the guy that has to create for everybody. And it turns out he's really good at that, just like he was when he was in college and just like he was when he was in high school. Every time this guy gets out in transition, it's an adventure. I'm like, what's going to happen now?
Right.
Like, it's really fun to watch him over the last several weeks.
Yeah, he's been really just amazing, and I just love his downhill attacking, his physical nature, and the way he's been going about it. But just I
He
like
knows
that.
how to use his size.
That's the key thing too, and we're just scratching the surface. Like wait until he gets going. Like
Yeah,
we're
wait till he
just at
hits
the beginning.
outside shots with any degree of consistency.
Well, but hopefully that will come. Let's make sure that comes along.
Yeah, I mean, look, even with him not really doing that, look what the last few weeks have been like.
Yeah, that's the thing that's impressive. Obviously, Anthony Davis is out. Looks like it's not as bad of a groin strain. It looks like it's going to be like a week or two or whatnot. But it's just added to the list for AD, which is
I saw
disappointing.
Jeff Stotts, who runs In Street Clothes. I think it was like this is the 13th time that AD has been listed with a groin injury in his career.
Jesus,
Like,
man.
I think that's what it was. I'm trying to just recall off the top of my head, but
It sounds about right.
really,
It sounds about right. 13 sounds about right.
yeah.
Any big Golden State takeaways?
Even when Steph doesn't have a great shooting game, just the gravity and what that allows them to do offensively. Obviously, this is nothing new, but what that allows them to do offensively in games. And they didn't even play all that well offensively. Like, they didn't shoot well at all. They were 14 of 50 from three,
Yeah.
28%.
Jesus.
And they still had a 120 offensive rating. Like, the way he throws defenses out of whack is absurd. And then you had Al Horford coming back, making those threes in the first quarter in particular. Trace Jackson Davis, I thought, played well in his minutes off the bench. Steph got him basically a free dunk on one of those plays where, again, the gravity coming off of a pin down in the middle of the floor. I don't have a ton to say about the Warriors. Like, they are what they are. Draymond was back after the adventure with Steve Kerr. He wasn't amazing, but he did his usual Draymond stuff. Jimmy, 9 assists.
I mean, my big thing is we need to see them with Al Horford more. We need to see Al on the court more. Maybe that'll change my opinion about them, but right now my opinion is they're just like I didn't like when Steve Kerr announced that they were a fading dynasty. Again, like I don't say the quiet part out loud. You need to project and ooze confidence in that
Is that
way.
part quiet, though? I don't think it's quiet.
But you're not supposed to say it.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to say it.
It's saying the loud part loud, though.
Yeah. I mean, like, everybody knew it, but you weren't supposed to say it
Yeah.
with everything they have. I don't think there's a trade out there that makes them better. I don't think that takes them to the next level that they need to be in the West and the way things shake out. But it was nice to see Horford out there. I think he adds a little element for them and something that they've been missing with him gone for so long. Let's see how it kind of plays out the rest of the season, but I don't have a ton of takes. I mean, Steph's great when Steph's on, and he shot poorly. But again, like you said, the gravity. I was going to mention the dunk that he got, Davis. Like it's all of those things. Like that's just the fun stuff watching Steph.
Yeah, they're kind of
Anything
trying
else?
to replicate the Horford thing in the starting lineup with Post.
Yeah, let's just be honest. You're not a serious NBA team in 2025 if you have Quentin Post starting for you. Let's just be honest. So, I get to say the quiet part out loud. I don't have to look at Quentin Post's face in the locker room later. I get to say that stuff.
Well, now with him playing and Horford back and Jackson Davis playing, they're playing 3 true big guys now. Where in the season they weren't playing any.
They're playing any. And of course, again, no Jonathan Kuminga. Okay, let's go to the other game because I have thoughts on this one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's shocking. The Rockets just destroyed the Lakers in a way that was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I just say that as I'm not even a Laker fan, but I was just embarrassed as just an LA person of like, come on, man. They just looked bad. And then JJ Redick goes into his press conference super angry and does the whole
could've
Saturday's
seen that
practice.
coming?
Yeah, Saturday's practice is going to be uncomfortable, all that stuff. I can't do this for 53 more games. And of course, my response was, well, can you do it for like 52? Like, where are we at? Like, I don't understand what's going to happen. The Rockets were great. I mean, just simply, like, Amen Thompson just destroyed them in that way. They got every board. Where do you want to go with this?
I feel like the only place to go is the Lakers defense, right? Like Dan Devine was saying this on social, both of the social medias that I follow him on during the game. Like when you have a game with the number 3 offense and the number 25 defense play out the way it did, like this was basically exactly what you would have expected, and that's exactly the way it played out. The Lakers' transition defense was an abomination. There's nothing more to say about it than that, and this is an ongoing problem going back like 4 years at this point. They're 24th or 25th in transition defense this year. They were 27th, 20th, 26th, like an ongoing problem going back years. I'm not surprised that JJ is fed up. We said before the season that he would get fed up at some point with the defense of this team, and that's exactly what has happened. And it's not a surprise that they've gotten to this point. They are 19-10 and they have a negative point differential. Like it's not a team that it's as good as its record.
Yeah, I think for starters, Laker fans fooled themselves in the sense of they thought they were better than they actually were, right? They had a great run to start the season. And now they've come back to earth. And I think you and I said from the beginning, like, I don't know how they're going to defend on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. Shocking. We're right in that, like, they don't know either in that sense. And here's my thing about their defense, and this is the important thing. There's no way to improve it.
Nope.
Listen, Luka's been trying on defense. Maybe not so much the last week or so, but he's been trying defensively. Austin Reeves is not a good defender. LeBron's 40. Right? He's a man. He ain't going to be able to do... I was hoping I'd get a smile. He can't do what he used to do. Right? Like, your best defender is Marcus Smart and Vanderbilt. Okay. Like, I'm not, like, built with, Rui Hachimura. Like, I'm not, like... I look at this roster and I just go, like, I don't know how you defend with this roster. When your front court gets you basically 6 rebounds, 2 from your center, DeAndre Ayton. I mean, like, this is the stuff this is the stuff when they signed Ayton, I was like, here we go. Like, this is the stuff that's going to be a problem.
Killed on the glass, by the way. 48-25, gave up 17 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, it was a joke. It was a joke in that game.
The Rockets took 90 shots and they took 77. And that's despite the Rockets taking more free throws, too.
It's the other thing, too, and this is my thing, and this is, I'm gonna put this actually on JJ. They stopped running offense. They're never going to compete with anybody defensively. They have to outscore you. Go watch that game, man. It was all ISO stuff. It was ISO, ISO, ISO. You go ISO, you go ISO. And I know they lost Austin Reeves, midway through the second quarter. But, like, there was no fluidity in the movement. There was no real sets put in. There was at the start of the season, their offense looked good. They're running plays. They're moving around, cutting, work Luka off ball. Then he comes on ball. All of that stuff, all these things kind of flowing around. All of that's been gone. And that's how you're going to win games. You're not going to win games. Your team's not built for this ISO, heliocentric ball. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, you need to get back to actually running offense. Because I bet you if you start scoring a little bit more consistently offensively, your defense will rise up a little bit.
A little bit.
Because, you won't be you won't be in transition as much. You won't be giving up so much of that stuff in that sense. And they'll play a little bit harder. They'll try a little bit more with that stuff. Should it be that way? No, but, like, that's the way it goes sometimes. And I think they've lost their way offensively, too.
And the whole point of having a coach like JJ is that shouldn't happen.
Right. Just simple. Shouldn't happen. And Laker fans, PSA, step away from the trade machine. I don't want to see any of this bullshit-ass Gabe Vincent, Rui Hachimura for Herb Jones. That ain't... If that gets you Herb Jones, I'm just telling you right now, other teams are going to have better offers. It's just that simple. Like,
yeah, but you don't think other teams would have had better offers for Luka?
Well, I don't think anybody else is going to just deal with the Lakers. You're right. You're right. Sorry, Rui Hachimura and a second-round pick for Giannis. Deal done. Deal. They get Giannis for Rui.
I'm just saying, the history of the NBA is that the Lakers get that kind of deal and nobody else does.
That's true, actually. That's true. All right, Lakers, go back. Fans, get back on the trade machine. Make your crazy ass lopsided trades. Jared's right. You guys do tend to always win with that. I don't have much to say about the Rockets other than just like fuck, they're good. Like it's they're getting everything they need right now. I'm kind of happy with where they are. You know, they're coming off a couple of bad games.
Yeah, nice to bounce back from the overtime losses.
Yeah, you know, and you know some bad losses to bad teams. This might be the start of them kind of beginning to climb out of that. For the most part, Thompson was like, awesome. This is what we talk about, was his athleticism. Most teams can't deal with that, and I think that was on full display against the Lakers on Christmas Day.
And it's a reminder that unless teams have like Oklahoma City or maybe San Antonio style guards, they can get away with Amen Thompson and Reed Shepherd as their primary ball handlers.
Yes. Let's just go to the last game of the night, because this
full
game...
disclosure for this one, I was absolutely delirious for the entire game because I had 5 basketball games and 3 football games I had to follow for work purposes. So, like, I barely remember this shit other than Nikola Jokic is just inevitable and impossible at the same time. What we're witnessing this guy do over the last now 5 or 6 years, and especially this year somehow, where he's even better than ever, it makes no sense on any level, and the entire game is in the palm of his hands every single game, and even trying to describe it at this point feels almost futile.
It's amazing. I want to just point out, I saw somebody tweet this out, and I'm trying to search it right now so I can give that person proper credit and get everything correct. I don't seem to have found it. Again, one day we'll have a producer. Oh, I found it! Yes! All right. Ben Houselog tweeted this out. Okay? Nikola Jokic now has a 20-point triple-double, a 30-point triple-double, a 50-point triple-double, a 60-point triple-double, all against the Timberwolves.
I was not ready for the kicker.
Yeah, that part's amazing. That part's amazing.
Does he somehow not have any 40-point triple-doubles? That makes no sense. But then I realized that it was all against the one team.
That's the amazing. That's the amazing thing. Like, that's what's absurd. Like, that and you know what? He'll get the 40-point triple-double at some point. Like, it's going to be one of those deals. He won the MVP for me last night. Like, I know it's too early, but like... I
saw Michael Pina saying that this morning, too.
Well, everybody's saying it. Like, It's at least he's the front runner. There's no way you can look at it. Down 3 starters. And they're going to be out without Cam Johnson, who started to kind of figure things out with them. And now he's out 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know when Aaron Gordon's coming back.
No, when Christian Brown's coming back.
Christian Brown's coming back. Down 3 starters. Killing it. They're still killing it. And they're doing it with doesn't matter. Peyton Watson. I mean, Murray's been absolutely electric too. Like, don't want to take it. But, doing it with Peyton Watson. Everybody. Valanciunas comes in off the bench, kind of relieve Jokic, and they don't drop off that much. You're going to drop off some because, again, Jokic is freaking amazing. But, like, you run out of things to say about him. And that was just incredible. Like, I owe Wolves fans an apology because I tweeted out when you guys went up 9 in with like 2-something left in overtime. It's like, okay, this game's over. I tweet out like, oh man, the Wolves went from not being able to win any close games to closing out the Thunder and the Nuggets in short span. Of course, I'm sorry, I clearly jinxed you. That one's on me. All right, that was my bad. I just, when you watch the Nuggets just kind of come out of a timeout, hit a 3, then hit another, it's just like you're watching like, damn, they're really gonna win this game. And then of course it gets out of hand with technicals and dumb plays and Ant trying to disrupt an inbounds illegally, and that's attack. Like, there's just a lot of just dumb stuff down the road. I did think it was a foul on Rudy. I thought it was the correct call when it got challenged and everything. But man, the Nuggets, dude, like, first off, I'm down for another playoff series between these two teams.
Absolutely.
Just so much fun with everything. Yeah, man, like, just, and if the Nuggets get healthy, like, God help everybody.
Even if they're not healthy, it seems like they can still do it.
Well,
like
I mean, playoffs will be different, but
yeah,
like,
well, like they're making Spencer Jones into a viable rotation guy. Like,
it's just I don't. Oh, dude, unbelievable.
Zeke
All right,
Naji getting some minutes last night.
Had to. I mean, they're running out of bodies right now at this point. What are your takeaways, if any, from the Wolves? I know you were kind of delirious at a certain point.
Yeah, they were plus 18 with Rudy on the court.
I mean, gotta find a way though to make it useful. I know plus 18, but like impactful. I shouldn't say useful. More impactful in a way.
I would say also the Randall Reed lineups to me not viable.
Not. It's hard, dude. You can't. It's just defensively you're really losing a lot with those guys,
and especially the Randall at center lineups.
Yeah,
totally not viable.
I mean, I don't know if they'd be in the market for a big man, but they might want to find somebody to be able to kind of plug in when Rudy goes out and avoid that Reed Randall sort of pairing.
But this is the whole point of having Naz Reid, though, is that you can play him with either one of the big guys or play him solo, and it doesn't necessarily seem like that's the case. Like, it seems like the Reed, like, at least in these kind of matchups, which are the matchups that matter, the Reed Randall thing to me doesn't work defensively.
It's hard. I still holding out hope, but like it's going to be tough. My big takeaway: Finch is a fucking great coach.
He is a very good coach.
They needed a three. He calls the timeout before the use it or lose it timeout, right? Before 3-minute mark.
I will cop to this, and I talked about this on Dunked On too. I still, after this is now like 16 years covering the league, I still do not understand how the use it or lose it timeout works. Don't try to explain it to me. I'm not going to understand.
No, it's just very easy. If you have 3 timeouts, when you get to the last 3 minutes of the game, you're going to lose that timeout anyways. Okay? So if you get the ball with 3:02 left and you have 3 timeouts, you call the timeout because you're going to lose it anyways, Jared. Hopefully that helps. But he calls. Well, forgetting's different than not understanding. Let's just remember that. But he calls a great play to get Ant a quick 3, right? And then off the bat, they need a 3 at the end of the game. Knows that the Wolves are in switch situations, short clock situations. Every team kind of is gonna switch.
Every team except the Brad Stevens Celtics, who would go zone.
That's true. It would work pretty much. But they would switch, and he put Jamal Murray in the action so that Murray has to guard Ant. And Ant gets an opportunity to get a 3 off. And a little bit of a disappointment in David Adelman. Put Jokic on the ball. Put somebody to defend the inbound or make it a hard pass. It was too easy. But just those 2 plays right off the bat, I was just like, damn, man, Finchie's good. Like, just knowing what they needed and to draw up those plays. Granted, it turned out to be a loss in that sense, but like pretty amazing.
He's a great coach. Finding something with Bones Highland too, out of nowhere.
I don't believe in it though.
Do you? You don't?
I don't buy. Maybe it's because I'm just not a Bones guy.
It's not either of our kind of player. I don't think.
No,
but it's been helpful for them for sure.
No, it's. I don't know if it's gonna last. I don't know if it's real. If it's just something he's on a good run right now. I'm sorry. It's. I need to see a larger sample size of it from him.
Yeah, it's only been like 10 games or something like that.
I need to see more of it before I'm gonna jump on board because I had hopes for him when he was with the Nuggets when they first drafted him. I liked him. Thought a nice little boost in energy, and then it just never really kind of worked out.
And then flamed out very quickly with the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, you can't flame out if the flame never turns on. I think is really kind of the fact. But yeah, man, like great Christmas Day games. I think that's Ant. By the way, I want to give him a shout out. I tweeted it out. This was pretty cool. He gets ejected. He's pissed off. He's walking off the court, and this is in Denver, mind you. And he sees a Wolves fan, like a kid wearing, I think, his jersey, and Ant's ready to give him the jersey, and then somebody tells him you can't give him the jersey because these are the Christmas ones with the snowflake on the back, and it's going to be auctioned or whatever, and all that stuff. And then so you could see Ant to say like, I got you. And then very easy for the kid to just never get anything. Again, right? Ant goes into the locker room. Ant comes out, gives him a jersey, and then signs an autograph, I think, for the kid and somebody else. Like, good on you, Ant. Like, that's just good sports stuff in that way, and the cheesy stuff that I like in my world. And, when I scroll through TikTok and I see that stuff on the sports videos in my algorithm, I enjoy that stuff. So just good on Ant with that. He was amazing. I thought he was incredible. Jokic, you run into Honey Bear, Big Honey.
Yeah, you just get overshadowed even if you have, 44?
Yeah. He had 44, and it didn't matter because Jokic had a 50-point triple-double and won. Like, it's just not fair. It's just not fair in that sense.
It's not fair at all. But,
would love...
The most important thing is that Scott Foster got his FaceTime. That's what we were all there to see.
It's true. It's not Christmas without Scott Foster. Jared, any closing thoughts on Christmas?
Just a great slate of games, man. I used to be able to do all 5 games in my sleep, but your boy is washed, and I'm not going to lie, I had to go to sleep at halftime of the late game and watch the second half in the morning because that's just the point I'm at in my life.
Yeah. It comes for us all. I just want to say this real quickly because I get annoyed. I'm at the age now of like old man yelling at clouds type stuff and do all these stupid things. Can we just stop pitting the NBA and NFL against each other? Like I saw a number of tweets from NFL people going like, "Oh, the NBA has or NFL has taken over Christmas or whatever." Like, yo, who gives a shit? Like, ratings talks was all the ratings conversation was always up. Look, I have no doubt the NFL probably drew better ratings than the NBA. I am confident the NBA did very well with ratings this Christmas Day. And can I just tell you something else?
They did well with the games, which is what actually mattered. Like, I couldn't give less of a shit about how many people watch the games.
Well, that was my point. And at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about ratings, period.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. And to just stop pitting everything against, this and that, and, they should go. I saw some guy, I'm not going to mention his name, tweet out, they've taken over Christmas. The NBA should pivot to Christmas Eve. And then until the NFL decides to take Christmas Eve over. Like, what are we doing here?
I will say, if one of the 2 leagues pivoted to Christmas Eve, that would be nice, so I didn't have to watch both on the same day, just for like my personal mental and physical health. That would be nice. But the NBA should not be running scared from the NFL. Like, stop doing that.
Yeah, and they're going to be fine. I mean, look, they just signed a massive TV deal with all that stuff. All that's dumb. Jared, this is the most important part of our podcast, the biggest thing in our segment. We got to talk college football, and I believe there was a pretty big college football game played the other day by your alma mater.
We were texting during this game, and I was telling you that that Miami was going to send me to an early grave because of the way everything was going. Like, massive wind effects in the game. We missed 3 field goals. Carson Beck missed JoJo Trader wide open for a touchdown because the ball got caught in the wind and swerved like 6 yards to the side.
That was
we couldn't get any passing game going at all because any pass longer than like 5 yards downfield was just completely stuck in wind turbines, and you couldn't do anything. But Mark Fletcher was amazing, ran for 174 yards. The defense was amazing, held Texas A&M to 3 points. Ruben Bain, 3 sacks. Akeem Mesidor completely dominated the game on the opposite side of him. Bryce Fitzgerald, our freshman safety, 2 picks, including the game sealer at the end of the game. Malachi Toney, there was a big Malachi Toney story on ESPN before the game, all about how this fumble he had during his freshman year in high school had like motivated him to become the player that he is today, and how he started working so hard after that and he was never going to do it again. The last line of the story was how he hasn't fumbled since that play, which was in the state championship game his freshman year. And I 100% knew that he was going to fumble during this game.
That's like
and he fumbles in like the biggest spot of the game. And this is a guy, like, you can't be like, oh my God, Malachi Tony, I can't believe this guy is going to ruin the season. But like, he is the reason that we've been in this spot. Like, I've been talking about him all year. Everybody knows. Yeah. He is just a total phenom. He should still be in his senior year of high school, and he's the best player on the team. And he fumbles in like an absolutely massive spot, but the defense steps up, and then he scores the game-winning touchdown on the next drive after Mark Fletcher has his 56-yard run to set us up. I mean, what an unbelievable story. Great win. Now we get to go play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl next Wednesday. When we do this podcast next week, it's going to be like hours before the game, and I'm going to be freaking the hell out. But for now, great win over Texas A&M, and now we got to go get revenge on Ohio State for 2002.
Yeah, well, I'm a Big Ten company man now, so your run has to end.
Oh, please.
I
don't care about the Big Ten.
How scared were you when Texas A&M was like in the red zone?
Honestly, I wasn't scared. I was more just like, if they do score, they're going to go for two, and then I'll be scared. But I wasn't that scared about them scoring a touchdown just because they couldn't really get anything going at all until that drive. And the defensive line was so dominant that I didn't think they were going to have enough time to like let routes develop down there. And I knew they couldn't run the ball from that spot. So I wasn't like scared of them scoring the touchdown, but I was scared that if they did score the touchdown, that they would then be able to score the 2-point conversion. If that makes sense.
Fair enough. Obviously don't have much college football to talk about. My football team's not in the playoffs. We did get disappointing news. The USC Notre Dame rivalry will be over, and that led to a whole lot of arguing of who's at fault. I'm going to start with this. I'm not as mad as I was.
Some Twitter conversations.
Me? What? No. Yeah, no. I've been kind of going nuts. I'm going to start with this. One, it's very sad the rivalry's over. Period. Regardless of whose fault it is, and I think really the big fault is actually college football in general, and the change of everything over the past few years has led to this, and we've lost a lot of great rivalries in the process. Where I get annoyed is when everybody runs around saying like SC's running away from this, SC canceled it. We put a proposal on the table to play this game next year. We wanted it moved up to September. And by the way, the story is week 0. We actually pitched other weeks in September. They just kept scheduling teams like Rice. Because Notre Dame doesn't really play an actual schedule. They kept scheduling lighter opponents and left it only so that there was only week 0. So they're going to pitch it as we're afraid. We should keep it as is and all that. I'm just going to tell you it's complete bullshit. Because for multiple reasons. But I'm just going to say the simple one. If their matter of understanding, the MOO, as I like to call it, was in place this year, Jared, your team wouldn't have been in the playoffs.
I know.
Despite beating them head-to-head. Your team would have been knocked out, and Notre Dame would have been in the playoffs. And everybody always says, well, they would have just ranked them 13th. I don't trust them fuckers. And that's the same scenario that's possible that could happen to us at SC. Could be a situation next year. We could be 10-2. Notre Dame could be coming to the Coliseum late in November, 11-1. We beat them. We're ranked 11th. They're ranked 12th. We're still out. They're in. The win would have not helped us at all. So, I don't understand why that's fair. And all the Notre Dame people who are just screaming about, all this stuff, we should just play this game because it's the way it's always been played and it's tradition. Even though it is more to our disadvantage and more to their advantage. That's not a fair comp. That's not fair. That's not something we wanted to compromise to play this game early and keep the series going. They didn't want to. Fine. Goodbye. I think that's the really at the end of the day, if we're gonna blame anybody, if it's between the two schools, obviously I'm biased, but I'm blaming Notre Dame because we actually put the offer on the table, and they said no. We ain't ducking them when we tell them we'll play you, and when your coach and your fucking AD, who's went on a whole media tear crying because they didn't make the playoffs and didn't play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, goes crying around all about this stuff, makes comments of, we'll play SC anytime, anywhere, bet, see you week 0. Oh, no, whoa. When we said anytime, anywhere, we meant in October and in November. We didn't mean actually anytime, anywhere. Get fucking out of here with all this stuff. That's all I got. I'm not at all still angry.
Based on my interactions with Notre Dame connected people this year, I'm fully comfortable blaming Notre Dame for this situation as well.
There we go. Thank you. The Double Dribble podcast stands united on its fuck Notre Dame. Notre Lame. Anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, man. Go Canes next Wednesday.
There we go. Go Canes. Except, Big Ten company, man. Got to keep the Big Ten going. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Double Dribble podcast.
See y'all.